Joe Hopkins here, and I'm doing something interesting here. I've done Strat versus Tele, Les Paul versus Strat, you know, the traditional stuff there, but hey, they're both single cut guitars, the Tele and the Les Paul. So which is better? And this isn't a cop-out, but I'm going to repeat something I've said many a time. It depends on what you want. Right here I have the traditional setup of each of these guitars. Tele. Well, first let's start with they're both heavy. They're both big, fat hunks of wood in their traditional forms. Traditionally, the Telecaster has two single coil pickups. It's got this little silvery one here, and the bridge pickup is like a standard looking pickup, but it's in that little metal box, right? This has a traditional Tele style bridge, which if you can see it, it's got like three little thingamajiggers, three like bridge pieces, I guess, or whatever you want to call them. That the three saddles, there we go, that two strings go over each one. Makes adjusting intonation a little bit touchy, but yeah, that's in their traditional form. Three-way switch, one volume, one tone. Bolt-on neck. This is the traditional form of the Telecaster. The Les Paul, here's its traditional form, rather traditional. Two volume, two tone, dual humbucker, three-way switch. It's got the standard bridge on here, which also, you can adjust the intonation individually, but the adjustments are on the top. So you got to loosen the string, move it out of the way, adjust it, put it back, you know, tune it back up and check it. It makes a bit of a pain. I don't know why they haven't come up with something a little bit better, but whatever. That's what it is, right? This one, less intonation adjustment. This one, kind of a pain, but whatever, right? But that's in their traditional forms. Now, traditional, let's see here, traditional Telecaster. We have some upsides to this guitar, right? Definite upsides. First of all, these are the least expensive guitars you can buy generally. Most budget companies, they sell Telecasters. Almost all of them do, and they're their least expensive guitars generally, right? So that's nice. Let's see. If you like the Telecaster style and you don't mind spending a little bit more on certain ones, you can get them with just a plethora of pickups. I've seen them. This is traditional. I have one that has a single coil down here and a humbucker in the neck position. I've seen plenty of dual humbucker Telecasters. That's actually pretty common. This style of bridge isn't on all of them. In fact, my other Telecaster with the humbucker, that's my, what is it, an XS. This is my Xavier. But my XS has like the Strat style bridge where it has adjustments for each individual string, both height and intonation, right? So you can get these in a lot of different ways. In fact, they have those, I think they call them a Nashville Tele or something, where it has another single coil right in the middle. So it's three single coils, kind of like a Strat, but on a Telecaster. So if you like a single cut designed guitar and you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want to find something with a lot of different available options on it, Teles are a pretty cool way to go. They also have those thin line Teles that are lighter and have an F-hole on them because they're semi-hollow body, right? Those are pretty popular. Telecasters come in all kinds of different styles, but if you really want that country music twang, you gotta get a traditional Tele with this little box pickup on it. It's not the Telecaster style that gives it that extra twang to it. From what I've found, it's this metal box around the pickup. I don't know what it is about it. I'm sure somebody somewhere has gone over why that is, but you know, I have, my other Telecaster has a single coil down here, but it just has a metal plate, not the surround, not the box. And it just doesn't twang the same. You really, to get that extra twang, you really need that box around the bridge pickup. I'm not sure why it is. I've just found it to be true. After having played many guitars and after having tried to get as much twang as I can out of different ones, That box seems to really make a difference. Usually the ones with the surround also come with that 3-saddle bridge, and maybe that has something to do with it too. I don't know, but I know that this is your twang machine. You can get twang from other guitars. I'm not saying you can't, but yeah, you want the twang? Here it is. You can also get some very heavy and bluesy sounds out of it. A lot of the old bluesmen played Telecasters. This was the original single cut, by the way. This was the original electric guitar. You know, when Leo Fender first started designing these things, this was the original, right? And this metal plate, it had a cover over it on the originals, and people would take the cover off. They called it the ashtray. They take it off. Now, very seldom do you see these sold with covers. I think Fender still has a model or two sold with covers, but a lot of them still have the metal surround because people want that. And it really does seem to give it a particular sound, right? It's a very simple instrument. It's a very simple guitar. 1 volume, 1 tone, 3-way switch, 2 pickups. It's as basic as it gets. Bolt-on neck, if that's your kind of thing. I like bolt-on necks for one main reason. If you want to change your neck pickup, or your neck, I'm sorry, you want to change the neck at some point, you can get another neck that will fit, and you can just unbolt this one and bolt on a new one, right? There you go. You can also make neck adjustments. Unbolt it, lift it up a bit, put a shim in there if you want the neck leaning more one way or the other. There's a lot of things you can do with a bolt-on neck that you can't with a set neck. But that's your basic Telecaster design. Now, like I said, this is my Xavier Telecaster. I love this guitar. Amazing guitar, right? I own 2 Teles, this and my XS, and I've played a lot of others. And this is my Tele, right? Traditional style Telecaster. I wanted a very traditional Tele, that's why I bought that one. Now, let me unplug that. I still got this plugged in from when I was jamming with it. You got your Les Paul style guitar, also single cut, heavy hunk of wood. This one has a set neck, right? Some people like set necks. I like set necks. I like bolt-on necks. I like them for different reasons. These tend to be prettier guitars. They traditionally come with dual humbuckers, or 2 P90s is also pretty common. As far as sounds you can get out of it, they tend not to be as versatile as the Telecasters, right? Telecasters come with just about any pickup configuration you can imagine. You can even get them with different tremolos depending on where you buy them from. Les Pauls tend to be no tremolo and this type of bridge, and 2 volume, 2 tone on humbuckers or P90s. Now, some Teles, or not Teles, some Les Pauls, some manufacturers make them a bit in a more modern style. They'll even call them like a modern Les Paul, where they're thinner, they maybe have that ergonomic cut on it, the belly cut like the Strats do. And a lot of times they come with coil splittings. You can get single coil sounds and different tremolo systems. My Harley Benton comes with all of that stuff, you know, Floyd Rose tremolo, coil splitting, the whole 9 yards. That one though has, 1 tone, 2 volume, or 2 volume, 1 tone, something like that. It's three knobs. I forget how it's set up, unlike the 4. Some companies even make Les Paul style guitars where it's just got a bridge pickup and that's it. And then you got 1 volume, 1 tone. You know, 3-way switch, usually, in the traditional setup. This one's my Sawtooth, right? I love this guitar. Really good act. Sawtooth makes good stuff, right? And this is a rather traditional type Tele, other than having a slightly longer scale length than other Les Pauls. I called this a Tele again, didn't I? It's a Les Paul. Yeah. It's funny that when you look at other at most budget companies, they'll have their Les Paul style guitars either branded as a single cut or an LP. Everybody knows LP means Les Paul. Not long playing. That's, you know, for those of you who remember vinyl records, you know. But usually they'll call this their single cut guitar, right? Even though the Tele is also a single cut guitar. They do sell Les Pauls, and some of the budget companies do, that are semi-hollow body, and some of them are more classically styled. It's got the F holes, and some of those are more often going to have a tremolo system of some kind. I've seen a lot of those style ones, the hollow body Les Pauls with a Bigsby type tremolo and that sort of thing on them. Now, as far as which is better, when I say it depends on what you want, it really does depend on what you want. Looks, as far as looks go, what kind of look do you want, right? That's the big thing, because you can find, if you have the money and want to look around, you can find either of these guitars with all kinds of different features on them. Like I said, this type normally, the Les Paul normally comes with P90s or humbuckers, but you can find ones with coil splitting, and you can find modern ones with tremolos and all kinds of stuff. The Telecaster, different, even budget brands will put all kinds of stuff on these guitars. You know, tremolos, Floyd Rose, locking tremolos, that kind of stuff, dual humbuckers, 3 single coils, you name it, they will put it on this kind of guitar. Now, like I said, if you really want extra super twangy twang, get a traditional style Telecaster like this one. And Xavier does make some really good ones, right? I'm simply saying that because that's my experience. I've played a lot of them, and theirs is the most traditional of all the Teles I've played that aren't made by Fender, right? Fender, of course, has the Telecaster. You can get something very traditional from them. From all the other brands, Xavier seems to make these as close to the original Telecaster as you can reasonably expect. Les Paul style guitars, most budget brands sell them too. These tend to be the more expensive ones. And I mean, with good reason. Set neck, usually binding around the body, much prettier finishes and colors, flame maple top like this one has. How much you spend is going to depend on how much bling you get with these. These get blinged out. You want a guitar that's just pretty, Les Paul is the way to go. You have many more options with Les Paul style guitars that are just much prettier. The prettiest one I have is probably my Wolf, which also great brand. They make great guitars. My Wolf Les Paul is like pearl white. It's got gold hardware, abalone everywhere. I mean, seriously, binding, inlays, whole deal. Abalone all over the place. Telecasters don't usually get blinged out so much. Now, Fender did make a version of the Telecaster, not a cheap one either. If you have the money and want to spend it, they made one to directly compete with the Les Paul. And what they did was they made it kind of an arched top with flame maple top, set neck, and dual humbuckers. Basically, it was a Telecaster-shaped Les Paul, essentially. Fender made that for a little while, and I mean, if you got the money, those are also some really pretty, wild-looking guitars. Great instruments, right? But in general, you know, people on my channel are looking to buy cheap instruments. So you're going budget brand. If you want the prettier one, get the Les Paul. You want something with a lot of twang and country sound, man, get a traditional Tele. You want something with a lot more versatility, get a Tele with whatever configuration you want. They make them all kinds of ways. You'd have to look around at different brands though. Not every budget brand has each configuration of guitar. You look around though, you can find what you're looking for. Les Paul, also, if you want a little more versatility, go look for the more modern ones, like my Harley Benton SC Custom, right? That's, I think they even put, I forget which premium brand pickups they put on there now. Mine has the Roswell pickups on that one. Harley Benton puts, I forget which brand name it is, but they put brand name pickups on some of them now if that's what you want, and the Floyd Rose tremolo. And in that case, it's actually a Floyd Rose 1000, not Floyd Rose licensed, which is nice. You're getting an actual Floyd Rose tremolo on it. And that has all the options, right? Thinner, lighter, more ergonomic, coil splitting, whole deal. So yeah, you can find either of these guitars in various styles, but what you really want it for, it's up to you. And a lot of it has to do with what kind of music are you playing and what do you feel comfortable playing. You can play metal on a Tele. Lots of people do, especially if you get a dual humbucker one, but even with the single coils, you can make this rock. Jimmy Page did. That's right, before he had a Les Paul, he had a Tele. And, you know, this is your traditional heavy metal rock machine, right? Right here, that Les Paul, yeah. So there you go. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the matter. I hope you found them somewhat informative. And like I said, if you're looking for some brands that sell these kinds of guitars really well, Xavier is my favorite Telecaster. And as far as Les Pauls go, everybody makes a good one. But my favorites are probably my Sawtooth and my Wolf. So there we go. Hey, subscribe to my channel, right? And check out my album, I Didn't Get a Memory by Joe Hopkins. There's links to streaming below. And here in the sec, there's an end screen. On that end screen are playlists and one says reviews. If you want to get an idea of what some of these guitars are like, or get, you know, more in-depth with them, I have reviews on all the guitars I talk about on this channel, including the ones I've mentioned in this video. And there's a playlist to my album on YouTube, you know, the YouTube playlist, I Didn't Get a Memory. It'll be coming up too. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.